Hello and welcome to the Mindful Dose podcast. You're listening to Adriana, and today is another Lunar Talk segment on the new moon in Aries for 2026. We are in April of 2026, and the new moon is typically the time where you set intentions and you plant seeds. And it's the new moon in Aries at the top of the zodiac. So this is Aries season is the start of the zodiac calendar, but with the new moon, I feel like the new moon really marks that intention setting for the year ahead and what you want to manifest within the next year, what you want to change in your life. Being in the zodiac sign of Aries, it's the most individualistic time period for oneself. Whether you're an Aries rising or if you have Aries in the third house, like it doesn't matter where Aries is in your chart. I feel like the sense of identity is there for all of us. And with Aries being the top of the chart, it may not be the top of your chart, but it is the beginning. It is the dawn of the zodiac. So with the new moon in Aries, I feel like this is a very potent and special time for many reasons, and we'll get into the technicalities of that once I show you the chart for the new moon happening on April 17th, 2026, if you're on the East Coast of the United States. So before we begin, I just want to give you guys a quick update. I think that I did the full moon in Libra for this Aries season. And when I did that, it was one of the last recordings that I did at the house that I owned in upstate New York. I've officially closed on that house, and that was a wild journey. Um, it's been a week now since I've closed, a little over a week, and I'm just starting to feel settled into this new life. I feel a lot more at peace. I think like my Apple Watch heart rate has been the lowest I've seen it in weeks. Like even prior to the move having commenced, I've just been really stressed at that house, managing it on my own. So it's really nice to just kind of close that chapter and that responsibility. Um, so now I'm at my new place, like my in-between place, and that's why I have this background because it's not quite settled just yet. But I appreciate everyone's patience with my level of consistency and showing up on this platform. I really care about what I share with you, and everything that I share is intentional. I want to teach you guys astrology. I want to teach you guys ways in which you can find peace in your daily life, and that will sometimes look like meditation. I feel like it's the most accessible. But I love astrology and I love using divination tools like tarot cards and that kind of thing. So if you are interested in that kind of stuff and you want to keep in touch with me, you should sign up to my newsletter on my website, and I'll link it below in the description, but it's mindful-dose.com. You can sign up for my newsletter there. You can find me on Instagram at mindful.dose. And you can also subscribe to my Substack. In my Substack, I am delivering weekly tarot scopes. So it's your horoscope mixed in with some tarot. And I am now developing a new segment on Substack, which is monthly horoscopes. So that will be the traditional format of delivering the astrology of the month ahead for you. But on the weekly basis, I use tarot to give you a little more of a customized horoscope. So if any of that is your jam, just check out the information in the description below and you can sign up to whatever calls to your attention. Thank you for being here. Let's get into the lunar talk for today. Okay, so this is a chart for the new moon in Aries. And typically we wouldn't start with we would just ignore the rising sign, just because it depends on where you're tuning in from. I'm tuning in from New Jersey, so on the East Coast of the United States, and I do have it set to where I see the rising, and I just want to make a note of where it is, because I think it's pretty significant. So I want to start off with this chart from the rising sign, and I am located on the East Coast of the United States. So the new moon is happening at 7:52 a.m. Eastern Time on April 17th, 2026. And that makes the rising sign right here at 0 degrees of Gemini. And this is very, very interesting to me because lately, part of me is like an intuitive astrologer. I have developed an intuitive practice. That's how I kind of got into all of this, is just through my intuition and using my intuition, using all of this astrology, tarot cards, yoga, and all of that. And lately in my psyche, it's been kind of like speaking to me that Uranus, which is right here at 29 degrees of Taurus, is going to be in Gemini very, very, very soon. And it's just been like in my psyche, like we're going to go through a shift collectively. For the last 6, 7 years, we've had Uranus run through Taurus, and it's been really kind of making changes in our finances and the way we appreciate things. And I remember 2020, and that was like the early Uranus Taurus era. And we went through a global pandemic, and our resources were limited. I remember going to the grocery store, and you were only allowed to check out one meat for per family. Uranus like changes and uproots things. And now that we're moving away from an earth sign and all these tangible experiences, it's now moving into an air sign, a communication sign. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So that's been on my mind just personally, thinking about how that's going to shift in my own chart, but also I've just been thinking about that collectively because there are other astrologers who have outlined the history of Uranus and Gemini for the United States. And I will just give you a quick synopsis. I have not done the thorough history to deliver that information to you from an astrological perspective, but I will give you the spark notes. And that is Uranus stationing into Gemini and then moving through Gemini has been historically linked with the United States. Excuse me. It has been historically linked with the United States in its birth. It's in the United States birth chart. And Uranus makes a return in a chart every 84 years. And every 84 years, some things have popped off with the United States. Wars, revolutions, major changes to the country. So, here in 2026, we are experiencing some pretty heavy stuff worldwide where the United States is stepping foot. Mercury is also a symbol of travel, and we have made the travel to other countries and cause problems in more than one country. So things are really kind of heavy worldwide. From the United States perspective, though, this change is in line with a lot of the changes that we have experienced in our history. So I just found it to be pretty fascinating that while we're going through um, all this Aries, like we have a major Aries stellium going on over here, and that's where the new moon is taking place. So things are really and Aries. Let me backtrack. Aries is a fire sign. It's the first zodiac sign of the entire zodiac. It's ruled by Mars. Mars is the planet of war, action, aggression, amongst other things. But in this case, I just wanted to mention that what's going on in the world, what you're going on in your personal life, I'm sure that this astrology can explain that. Right, so let's go back to this lunation, and I'm just going to turn the chart so that it's the houses don't really matter in the context of this segment. All right, so we're not going to focus on the houses. We're just going to talk about the lunation and the Aries action that's going on over here. So the new moon is taking place at 27 degrees Aries. It's pretty late in the sign. Over here, tightly connected to it is Chiron. Chiron, like Uranus, is going to be moving out of a sign that it's been in since 2018. Another 2018 was pretty big, I'm not gonna lie. Chiron has been in Aries for a really long time. I don't know too much about Chiron, but I do know that Chiron has an uneven amount of time in each zodiac sign, and Aries is like one of the longest ones. So, with Chiron tied into the new moon, I feel like this, just to start off, this new moon is closely linked to our healing journey. Chiron is an asteroid that represents the wounded healer in all of us. So, when it comes to our self identity, to what we want, what we stand for, perhaps even our body, most of this really depends on where Aries is in your chart. But there has been a healing journey involving your direct ability to take action. Chiron is involved with this new moon, and I love this because it's a new moon. It's a chance to start something new with wisdom of healing. The wounded healer doesn't mean that you can't ever figure it out. You might be able to figure it out. You might know how to recover and heal, but it might just mean that you need to ask for help from someone else who can do it, who can help you get to that healing point and cross that finish line. This new moon with Chiron tightly bound is telling me that we have a lot of wisdom on our back to plant a seed of continuation and moving forward. We no longer have to be in this beginner, unsure, I've never experienced this type of headspace. We now have years experience. We have teachers, we have guides, we have mentors, we have information available to us to know how to continue our healing journey and to pivot into a direction where we can see where we can plant roots and ground ourselves. Because Chiron's going to move into Taurus in 2027. So next year we'll have Chiron close to the lunation, I think, once more. So I feel like this is just the beginning of our minds opening up to the idea that our healing for our individuality and ourself, and just like thinking about ourselves first, that journey is closely coming to an end, and this new moon is opening up that door to find that closure. I hope that makes sense, because for me it absolutely does. All right, so we see how close the lunation is to Chiron, but we also have all of this Saturn, Mars, Mercury, Neptune in Aries. Let's move into first Mars and Saturn. In astrology, if you're new to astrology or unfamiliar with the language in traditional astrology, because that I'm studying traditional astrology. I should have prefaced this entire episode with that, but I'm studying traditional astrology, and there are what we call malefic planets and benefic planets. The malefic planets are the planets that are, I guess, the harder teachers. And oh my God, I lost the word. Malefic? Okay. The benefic planets are the fun teachers. The malefics are in the same zodiac sign, and they're so close. I think just days after the new moon, they're going to meet up at the same degree. I don't have the information as to what degree or what date, but I'm pretty sure it's like around the 19th of April. They're going to meet up when the two hardest teachers of our solar system come together. It's a really tough day. I mean, it's heavy examination of how we're using our energy, especially when it comes to war, when it comes to fighting for things that you care about, and understanding that there are rules. And if we want to play the game, we have to understand that there are rules and there are consequences. So those two magnetic forces that just want to go, go, go have two different MOs. They operate from a completely different headspace, and when they come together, it's really hard to get them to land on the same page. So we have that hovering in the background of this lunation. We have Mercury and we have Neptune also. They're also very close together. Um, just days before the new moon, Mercury and Neptune make a conjunction. So this conjunction is separating. They're still pretty close. They're only 1 degree apart, 2 and 3 degrees. So Mercury is a communication, it's travel. Neptune is about ideas and visions and dreams. And it's more like airy, a higher thinking kind of thing. So when Mercury enters this chat room, in the days before the new moon, Mercury brings the energy of speaking, the actions, like the words behind the actions. So if you have been on a path of destruction, threats, and all of that, this new moon can really amplify what you've already been doing. And it can dig a really deep hole, planting a seed that's going to be hard to dig out because so many planets are blending their energies with one another, and they may not all be on the same page or function well in the zodiac in this Aries zodiac sign. So one thing I do like is that Mars is ruled by Aries, so Mars and Aries understand each other. The sun is exalted in Aries, so the sun does best in Aries, and that means the visibility and your actions can be in the best way. But Saturn's not so good in Aries. So there's something about playing by the rules that isn't quite easy here. Now, since I talked about the malefics, let's talk about the benefics. What are they doing? How are they contributing to this conversation? And my friends, Venus, good old Venus, who's at home in Taurus, is not making an aspect to anybody or anything. Jupiter in Cancer, exalted. So our good teachers are in really good places in the zodiac sign right now. Jupiter also not making an aspect to anybody. So our good teachers are like, we're not going to be in that room. We're not going to be in this Aries chat room. We're going to let them figure it out. We're going to wait till the energy moves into a zodiac sign that we know we can have a conversation with. And that, my friends, is what makes this new moon quite interesting to me. So this new moon, how can you plant a seed here? And this is where I'm going to consult the cards, so give me one moment. So with every zodiac sign, it's very different. For some, this action-oriented phase that we're all kind of going through could be in your house of relationships. So all this activity could be happening in your relationships, or depending on your rising sign, it could be happening in your career. It's really different for everybody, and this is where I would encourage you to check out. Definitely know what your rising and your sun sign are. I have a weekly tarot scope on Substack to help you narrow that down, but I also provide individualized astrology readings, which you can check out in the link in the description below. It's really important to know what your rising sign is, because then you'll know where the planets are having the conversation in your life. And this Aries conversation is loud, it's big, and this new moon is just here to plant all that energy, because this energy isn't just going to dissipate and go nowhere. This energy is going to be quite big for some time, because Neptune, my guy over here, Neptune is going to spend the next decade through this sign. And being that it's at the very beginning right now, and this new moon is at the very end with all of this energy in between, it's kind of snuggling in our day-to-day activity that we're doing now. But what the bookends are holding that energy, and that energy is going to encapsulate the path, the energy that we're going to carry through this path for the next decade. Primarily for the next 3 years, while Saturn, this guy, is going to spend 3-ish years through this sign. That's just me kind of giving you the timeline map so that you can understand just like the weight of this new moon. The weight of this new moon is heavy and it's no pressure. Again, just follow the forecasts. The forecasts will guide you. So while the benefics are not making an aspect, they're still a part of the picture. They're still in the same building. They're just, you know what, we're gonna check out from that meeting and the next meeting will be there. I just think that this new moon, it's important for us to really check in what that temperature behind our action is. All right, so I'm using the Mythic Tarot deck by Liz Green. Um, and the card that I got, let's see if I could switch back to, all right. So the card that I have is the King of Swords. That's very interesting. It's an air card and it makes me think of the Uranus and Gemini ingress that we're going to experience very soon, but it doesn't really, I don't know. It's just triggering that thought to me because the swords are about our mind and our thoughts and our thinking and the words we share with each other. And in this card, he's holding a sword in one hand and then a scale in the other hand. So a king of any of the sword, cups, pentacles, wands suits signifies the highest level of thinking and operating of that particular type of energy. So when it comes to our mind and our thinking, here with this new moon, we have to really calculate everything that we're doing. And with Mercury here in the conversation, I think it's fitting. And very early in the conversation, just having met Neptune at 2 degrees, I think it's really important that we think about what we're fighting about, what we're fighting for, and how we can find the balance between everything we do and how we react to someone else's purpose for fighting and defending. It's a balancing act. But it's the message that I'm getting with this card for this lunation for us. And that's our lunar talks. I know it's pretty big, it's pretty crazy, and the days leading up to the new moon are also pretty big. The sun and Chiron meet, Mercury and Neptune meet, Mercury ingresses into Aries. It's a lot of punches coming through leading up to the new moon. So you might be exhausted by the time the new moon comes around and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this energy when I feel depleted or when I feel burnt out? There's a lot of fire here. So you feeling burnt out may be a common theme for most of us. It is best to physically find the break. Okay, Chiron is here. Chiron is that wounded healer. And we don't have to always go, 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 go the way Aries wants to. Chiron and Aries might be teaching us, you really gotta slow down. You gotta slow down. You wanna go, go, go. You gotta slow down. You gotta pace yourself. And here's a really real life example. Before I moved, I lived in upstate New York, and driving to New Jersey where my friends and family are, I noticed that I would save a lot of gas if I just kept at the speed limit of the highway instead of maybe 10 miles per hour extra. So if I went 60, like my gas was mostly still full, but if I went like 70, it was like halfway. It was such a major difference in my gas tank than I expected because it was just only a couple of extra miles per hour that I was going or, lessening. But it made such a difference in the energy levels of my truck. And the same goes here with Chiron in Aries, taking its time these last like several years of trying to match the pace of everyone else. Like if, this person's launching periodically at a rate that seems like fast and going well for them and we want to match that, like that's not what Chiron and Aries is trying to encourage. It's trying to encourage you to look at your own life. And that sounds like a message just for me because I'm like, oh my god, I've been like in this move and I haven't been able to produce consistently or in the way that I want it to look or feel. And it's like, so what? It doesn't matter. Everyone's purpose and path is so unique and it's so meant to happen that way. We are all meant to experience everything that is happening to us, even if it sucks. And I can say that because I went through something that really effing sucked. And I can say that in my heart that I went through what I went through to learn something. I'm not saying it had to happen, but it did happen and I have no control over that. I can't control the losses that I've experienced, but the losses I have found a purpose to shape me in a better direction forward. Chiron is just kind of suggesting like your path is unique. So with this new moon, take a moment to reflect since 2018, all the changes that you have gone through, all the energy levels that you have experienced, those times where you felt productive, and those times where you were forced to slow down. And think about what you have learned about yourself. Think about how that has changed you as a person. If you became a parent, you've definitely felt some level of slowing down. Those first couple of months, you're forced to kind of be with a newborn who has a completely opposite, crazy schedule than you've been used to for the last 20 something years. If you have changed jobs, did you go to a fast paced job or a slow paced job? Like think about the way that your life has changed and how it has affected you as a person in terms of your energetic levels. When you have gone the speed limit, or when you have sped up a little bit more, or maybe you have slowed it down, and how that has changed your energy levels. So I'm going to keyword this new moon as energy levels, and we're going to run with it, run or walk with it. So anyway, thank you for tuning into this Lunar Talks. I'm having a lot of fun doing these sessions with you. Thank you for your patience while I navigate a transition. I'm in the transition now. Keep in touch. Check out the description below for where you can connect with me in whatever way feels interesting to you. And thank you for trusting me. Much love to you guys. I will talk to you guys soon.